So everyone has insecurities. That's just a fact. And anyone who says otherwise is either delusional or lying or, I don't know, Buddha or something. So how do you deal with insecurities? More importantly, how do you disarm them so they don't hold you back or limit you or control you anymore? The easiest way, the simplest way, the most direct way is to just admit that you have an insecurity. So in a situation, relationship, personal, interpersonal, whatever, you just say, hey, you know what, I feel a little uncomfortable about this, or, it's the silliest thing, I know, but for some reason, I feel insecure about this. And I know that might sound simple, or it might sound really difficult, but I can tell you that from experience, from what I've seen in my own experiments, in my own life, in my own relationships, this has been by far the easiest, most effective way to deal with insecurities. And there are many benefits to doing this, other than just the selfish thing of making yourself feel better. Because when you feel more secure in yourself, and when you're open and honest and acknowledge the fact that you have an insecurity, that tends to allow the other person to put down their guard a little bit and feel okay to have insecurities too, to feel like, you know what, I don't have to try so hard around this person, or I don't have to put up a false sense, or I don't have to pretend like I'm anything otherwise than I am, because you know what, they're open and they're mature enough and they're secure enough to admit their insecurities. So you know what, maybe I can too. So that's one benefit. The second benefit is that it takes a level of security to admit that you're insecure, which sounds weird, but if you're really insecure, then the last thing you want to do is acknowledge it. But if you're developing security, or you're secure, then you have enough to actually acknowledge the fact that you have an insecurity or something you're uncomfortable about, and give it attention, give it energy, and just allow it to, go somewhere else, or just pass through you or whatever. Because it's like I've said before on other subjects, when you fight something, when you resist something, it's just like trying to hold a beach balloon under the water. The more you push it, the more it resists, and the harder it gets. So this just really gets rid of the resistance and allows it to come up to the surface of consciousness. Allows you to give it light and to just release it, and it doesn't really have as much power or control over you anymore. And that's by far the easiest, most direct way to deal with an insecurity. So obviously to just acknowledge it and admit it and be open with it. And in relationships, this is the easiest way to get closer, get more intimate, and get to actually know each other, because in relationships and just life in general, we only want to put forward, what we consider to be our positive self. We don't ever want anyone to know that we're insecure or uncomfortable, or we have fears or doubts or anxieties or any of that stuff, so we just hide it. We don't even talk about it. But that's kind of, in a way, it's lying, because you're not putting your true self out there. And how can you really expect people to love you and trust you and know you unless you're able to acknowledge that part of yourself? So if someone loves you but you're not being completely honest with who you are, then they're not really loving you. They're loving some false representation that you're putting out there. And that takes energy and time and investment to maintain, to keep up, because it's not who you really are. So by just admitting who you are and what you think and what you feel, just bypass all of that and automatically get more energy and feel better, and everyone around you feels more comfortable. So that's a little technique I wanted to share with you. If you have any questions or comments, post them below, and I'll talk to you soon.